Welcome to Freemasonry in the Bakken podcast, episode 9. On today's episode, we are talking about Masonic holidays and traditions. This is Nolan Overton.
And I'm Tyler Hall.
And this is Dr. Robert Bear.
The views, opinions, and thoughts shared on the show are that of the individual host or guest and not intended to represent the entire show, other co-hosts, Freemasonry, independent body, or grand jurisdiction as a whole. We try to have as much accurate and correct as possible, but reserve the right to be human and make mistakes. If you feel we have a wrong fact or have a difference of opinion, we encourage you to contact us via our contact page on the website for a mature, friendly discussion on the fact or topic.
All right, and today we're talking about traditions for the holidays, Christmas traditions, what have you. Let's first start around the table here. What's your Christmas traditions that you have, Dr. Bob?
Well, right now I'm like really behind the eight ball. I always say that if I don't start doing Christmas cards by Halloween, they don't get out on time. And I still haven't started them, and I usually bake. I'm so far behind, but presents have been sent back east. So Santa said they will be delivered. That would be Santa UPS.
So when you say Santa, or packages have been sent out east, do you mean Amazon.com dropship? Or did you actually go to the post office?
Well, this time we actually had to go to the post office.
I am so sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Christmas gifts will arrive on time this year. Last year they were a little late, but it's we're getting there. How about you, Nolan?
We haven't even finished gathering all our addresses for Christmas cards. The wife was going to be really on top of it this year, and we're still gathering those addresses. So we have good intentions of getting out cards. Our elf on the shelf, Coco, has been making her appearance since about the weekend after Thanksgiving. The kids are absolutely loving that. And my 4-year-old is constantly asking, is today Christmas? Because she's all about the gifts, unfortunately. But so we've done some cookie decorating. Today we're doing some cake baking. For my stepdaughter's birthday is the day after Christmas, so we're celebrating it this weekend. And we're recording the Saturday before Christmas, so as a reference, because we'll release the week of Christmas. But when I say this weekend, it's the weekend before Christmas, so it's a special time for her. However, we have a super blended family between my kids, her kids, the child we have together, and foster children. So we've had a blending of traditions over the years. So we don't necessarily have any family traditions we hold to every year. We just kind of make it up as it goes.
That's kind of cool.
I think about the only thing we've been able to remain steady with is the Christmas tree goes up sometimes even before Thanksgiving, so we can enjoy it, since we really don't have the ability to decorate for many other holidays, just simply because so much of our stuff is currently in storage, that we decorate as much as we can for Christmas, but we start early.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that, because with us moving from Pennsylvania to Missouri to Utah to here in North Dakota, we have Christmas trees at my parents' house, at my in-laws' house. We have 2 or 3 trees here. So in all their storage, we have all kinds of decorations. Someday we'll get them all back, and we'll say, "Oh, look, I forgot we had this one." So, but you brought up something that I think is really funny, the elf on the shelf,
right?
Because I have a niece, and niece Sarah, and her elf is Chip. Well, Chip showed up right after Thanksgiving, and it's incredible how the elf on the shelf can make her into the sweetest angel. I think there's a parenting technique. The elf should be out all year long, and that'd be a great way to have all the girls and boys behave.
I'd have to agree with you now. And before we turn this over to Tyler for what he's been doing, on the same topic of getting kids to behave, especially this year, the 2-year-old we have really tried, the terrible 2s and the trying 3s. He's kind of rolled those all up into one in about a 1-week period. And I'm seriously considering using some operant conditioning to see if we can't get him to comply a little bit better. So I have my pocket full of Skittles that I walk around the house with now, and I'm hoping that'll help us out a little bit. May not be the best parenting tool, but it keeps us all happy.
Somebody's going to follow behind you. Give me another Skittles.
Hey, if he's behind me, he's not into another room breaking something else.
I just want to know which lever on you he's going to be pushing.
But, all right, Tyler, so what are you doing for the holiday season?
Well, it's a whole slew of new traditions for me this year. New apartment, just setting up my new office too. Just been busy with that, but just seeing what we could do. I come from a family who used to go to my mom's side, and in my dad's side of the family, off and on between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we do that, and with my cousins and stuff, we'd have a tradition of picking the names and giving the gifts like that. But like I said, new place, new life. We'll see what happens and go from there.
That means you can just try some new traditions, some North Dakota traditions.
Absolutely.
Like they're kind of big into oyster soup, which is kind of interesting. Something I never tried out. But you're in the middle of the Midwest, and oyster soup. You don't usually go down here to
Enough beef broth, maybe,
Yeah.
but not an oyster soup.
Yeah. So interesting tradition.
Well, and then, trying to do research for this podcast, I'll be honest, I had difficulty trying to come up with any Masonic traditions that were constant,
Right.
other than John the Evangelist, which is celebrated on the 27th of December.
Right.
I didn't find much.
No.
Right.
How about you guys? I mean, I'm kind of hearing no from you guys.
Well, I agree. I looked, and that was the only real tradition that I discovered. Tyler, how about you?
Yeah, and just kind of looking at that feast there for the St. John the Evangelist Day, I kind of, a lot of lodges kind of stemmed off from that and do similar things.
I did get some feedback where it stated that we'll do like charitable baskets or donations to organizations. And thinking a little deeper into the intra-religious nature of the Masonic family, because there aren't just Christmas, Hanukkah. I'm ignorant in some of the Islamic traditions. I shouldn't say holiday, but Islamic holidays. But it truly shows that we are an intra-religious organization.
Right.
But depending on where you're at, certain lodges will have their own traditions, and I think that's very admirable.
Right.
I know one consistent thing that had come up was not something that was religious based, but was also the Lodge of Sorrow. Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
No, I'm not.
The Lodge of Sorrow is where and it does vary with jurisdiction, but some that I heard is you'll drape like your charter in black, the windows will be draped in black, and there'll be other little things that you normally wouldn't do during a lodge ceremony, but it's your lodge of remembering the brothers who had passed away that year.
Okay.
Some people will do it just for one lodge. I know that one article I was reading where the incoming worshipful master will open the Lodge of Sorrow, and it will technically be open all year, even though you don't do the draping of the charter and in the windows. And his last tiled lodge of the year, he closes the Lodge of Sorrow. It's basically a step or an additional step for the incoming and leaving worshipful master during his reign for that year.
Actually, coming to think of it, I think back in Minnesota, one of the lodges there did that. So, yeah.
It's an interesting tradition, and due to the nature of some of the western North Dakota lodges, you don't see a whole lot of traditions like that, but I know it's something we should probably start.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to what I had mentioned with the feedback to social media about what lodges do, is it's a time to show that Masons are charitable, and I think that's probably the biggest tradition as a whole that we share, going back to the tenets of Freemasonry, is it doesn't matter what your particular lodge does, but they always tend to be charitable this time of year.
And just going back to St. John the Evangelist Day, December 27th is what we observe it to be now. I think it first started with the winter solstice, and kind of even at churches they kind of did sermons on invoking the blessings of love, unity, fraternity, wisdom, and brotherhood. So back in 1778 at Williamsburg Lodge in Virginia, they kind of first stemmed the Masonic tradition of a processional to church and doing that, and then coming back and doing a feast together. And
Well, you brought up something interesting there. You said it was to celebrate the solstice, but the feast itself is on the 27th.
Right.
You know, I've thought about this from time to time because this isn't the first time I've heard those dates. That kind of brings an interesting quirk of history to mind, in that the calendar we operate on today isn't the calendar that we've always operated on. And I believe it was sometime in the, and I could be wrong, 1600s that we switched calendars. So a lot of the dates or the observations we make, like the St. John's Day on the 27th for the solstice, got bumped when they adjusted the calendar to actual more scientific measurements.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting. I think the St. John the Baptist Day in June
June 24th.
is the same thing, because
Right.
the solstice is traditionally the 21st through the 20th through the 22nd, depending on the particular celestial movements. But I think a lot of these dates that seem odd on the calendars end up falling that way.
right.
And I agree with what the both of you are saying, and it's the same thing that I've found when I was researching St. John's Day. But what I've also learned is that on St. John's Day is traditionally when the Grand Lodge of Scotland and the ancient Grand Lodge in England changes their Grand Masters. So this is their day to celebrate and have banquets and feast of basically the changing of the guard.
That's kind of interesting. I know that wouldn't work in the States because almost every Grand Lodge they don't need a different date, but so many Grandmasters travel to other Grand Communications. I don't think it would work to have that. But I do like the idea of having something every year in your local lodge, and I'm sure many do, especially out east.
Yeah, my lodge actually in Lincoln, Nebraska, we do something similar. We do a table lodge.
Okay, and I know that's common out here as well.
So that falls in our second meeting in December.
I think that'd be a fantastic thing to start off, and I know a lot of lodges out here do. I'm just thinking for our particular lodge, and if you move beyond just the holiday season, there are so many more opportunities to have set, a lot of them have picnics, they have chili cook-offs, and those are traditions, maybe not holiday traditions, but those are important traditions for each local lodge themselves.
Absolutely.
I know, Bob, you had mentioned, what is it, the Feast of Strawberries?
Strawberry Nights.
Strawberry Nights, there
Strawberry
you go.
Nights.
Feast of Strawberry sounds a lot more official, but I like the idea of, and you'd mentioned it for our area,
Yep.
is having a Strawberry Night for our lodges.
Bring a little bit of Pennsylvania here to North
So
Dakota.
how does that work?
Well, basically, brothers come to the meeting, and it's usually in Pennsylvania, it's throughout the month of June. Brothers will go from lodge to lodge. We have regular state of meeting, and afterwards you bring out the vanilla ice cream and strawberries, and it's a good time.
Sounds good.
I think, even for our area, if you did it as an informal lodge where ladies were present,
Yeah, absolutely.
or families, not just ladies, but the kids as well. I mean, you go through 8 more gallons of ice cream per person, but, just with their kids. But I think that'd be a fantastic tradition. We'll have to investigate that. We'll have if the Dickinson Lodge does that, we'll announce it to everybody and
There you go.
expect everybody from Montana to South Dakota to Minnesota to show up for that.
I will make sure it is big.
Another tradition, we had a Christmas dinner formal up
Okay.
at the Bismarck Lodge a week ago, and that was fun. And then today I'm actually going up again to the Rainbow for Girls is putting on a Masonic family tradition, and they're having a sweater contests and everything.
So basically, I think throughout this, our discussion here, there's a lot of things that happen in the Masonic community, just nothing that's official,
Right.
which is
Right.
fantastic.
Well, and over the years, I've, like Tyler, like you said, lodges will have Christmas parties. I know my father's lodge, Lother Manor, has a formal Christmas party at the Officers Club down in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. That they, I'm sure they have a dinner and then a talk, but there's also I think Brother Masons will visit other brothers in like nursing homes, or will go into maybe some of the Masonic homes and do some things, programs, those various bands. But I remember some of the things growing up, and even my involvement in some of the appendix bodies. For instance, if you look at the Tall Cedars back east, they'll have a dinner, and then Santa Claus shows up for the kids. The Scottish Rite, the Valley of Harrisburg, does the Christmas Carol, which has always been an awesome production. And I can remember when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, Mom and Dad taking us to see it. So, but even you brought up all the youth foundations, and Tyler, you and I are both past DMLA. Nolan, you weren't, my understanding.
No, I was not.
You were not?
No.
Okay. But I can remember in DMLA, we went and visited people in the various nursing homes and in the Masonic homes, and took things for it
Right.
to them. What about you?
Yeah, we had our Christmas parties. We went out and did some visiting as well. I think sometime within the course of the winter, it's always a big event is the Sweetheart Balls.
Okay.
That's that's a good formal dance that everybody had. So
Well, and I think like Rainbow Girls and Job's Daughters, we have the Job's Daughters, they sing. So I would imagine the different Job Daughters chapters will probably put on various performances during the Christmas holiday. Rainbow Girls, I know, I've seen them put baskets together,
Right.
care packages, and put them out. So, I mean, I do see the youth foundations doing a lot of good things at this time of the year.
absolutely.
Well, and this just, I think, puts the passion in me for us to do more as a
Yeah.
Masonic community, and as the Blue Lodge in our area for our community.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Elf on the Shelf, and I just thought of something. Wouldn't it be cool if we could develop the Mason on the Shelf?
Other than possibly some copyright issues, I think that'd be fantastic. We'll see what we can do.
Who beat
There
the
we go.
image on that one?
I have seen. Are either of you Duck Dynasty fans?
Yes.
Uncle Si.
Yes.
They have Uncle Si on the shelf.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook.
No, I've not.
I'll see if I can link to it in the show notes, but there's Uncle Si on the shelf. He's green, has a beard. So they are willing to license the concept to other parties. So maybe we could have the Mason on the shelf, like you said, but
Mason on the shelf, there
instead
you go.
of doing it on our own, have an officially licensed product. That's not a bad idea. And you heard it here first. So now we've got the copyright on that.
There,
Just
there you
saying.
go. Yeah.
Copyright
Trademarked.
pending.
Voice confirmation of trademark pending. All right, I appreciate that, Tyler. But all right, and I think it's I've brought it up numerous times during this recording where it's all about the charity. Unique, your own private traditions, I guess you could say, but it's also about the charity. And I think if I could push anything this time of year, it's that.
Right.
Right.
Is take that extra step. Remember your tenants.
Giving to others.
And that's the way Masons should live. And not just this time of year, but every day of
throughout
their
the day,
life. So,
throughout the
Right,
year.
absolutely.
Right. I think one appendant body we need to talk about is Shrine. All three of us are Shriners, and I've had the privilege to belong to 4 different shrines throughout the United States. My most memorable one was when I was out in Alcala, out in Salt Lake City. I remember Alcala Shrine. I was a clown, and my clown name was Scooter. And my best memory was when we all got dressed up in our clown uniforms, and we went to the Shriners Hospital there in Salt Lake City for a Christmas party, and holding the kids on my lap, and seeing their smiles, and I think we gave them candy canes and some other little presents. I mean, it was such a precious moment that I'll always hold dear and cherish. But you said about giving, and I mean, that's one thing I see a lot of Masons that we do. We give of our time, and we give what we can.
And absolutely, we do give what we can, and that kind of wraps us up here with the fact of we do what we can. Whatever traditions we have, we can go out and be charitable and give what we can with our time and resources.
Yeah, and one final thing before we come back to a close, and I know we've probably stated this multiple times this recording, as a Mason, it's not the season that should dictate our charitability. It's the fact that we're Masons. We should be charitable every day.
Right. I
Amen.
agree.
Well, brothers, this is our recording before Christmas, so you guys have a fantastic Christmas, and to all our brothers and anyone else who may not be a Masonic brother out in our listening audience, have a wonderful and safe holiday season.
And God bless you.
Everyone.
We would like to thank this week's sponsor, Lakota Overton, an independent It Works distributor. Have you tried that crazy wrap thing that Traditons and firms? For more information, give Lakota a call at 701-290-9544.
And if you know of any Masonic or appendant body activities coming up in the Bakken area, you can visit our website at www.bakkenmasons.com and click on the trestle board. If you have any comments or suggestions on an episode, you can contact us on our website, our Facebook page at facebook.com/BakkenMasons, Twitter at BakkenMasons.com, email us at contact@BakkenMasons.com, or leave us a voicemail at 701-484-1512. And if you are discussing a show, topic, or podcast with friends online, we encourage the use of the hashtag BakkenMasons.
The time has come for us to say goodbye. So for Brother Nolan, Brother Tyler, and myself, we'd like to thank you for listening, and we look forward to you joining us again. Next week, we will be discussing do's. Until then, be Masonic proud. From us and our families, to you and yours, we want to wish you a happy Hanukkah and a very Merry Christmas. To all the men and women serving our country, at home and abroad, whether you are celebrating with your loved ones or your brothers and sisters in arms, may your holidays be blessed with peace and joy, and know that your sacrifices and commitment will be forever remembered, not only by those you strive to protect, but most importantly, by the ones who guide you along your path. And now I leave you with these parting words. A Freemason's Christmas wish. It is a time of year when the brethren rejoice and sing carols of praise in resounding voice. Days of merriment and long nights of cheer as we all await the happy new year. It is a time of family and lifelong friends, a time of happiness and to make amends. Roast turkeys and baubles, and the nutcracker sweet, we each have our own way to make Christmas complete. As we stroll through this happy month of December, find time to pause and time to remember that distinguishing sign of a Freemason's heart, whose act of charity, how great they are. As your family gather around your Christmas tree and the children play with giggles of glee, spare a thought for the poor, the man with no shoes, whose daily mail is less than your dues. Remember also the Grand Lodge above and the supreme great architect's act of love, and practice those virtues we hold so true. Have some fun, but let temperance chasten you. And during this season of peace and joy, look well to our future, the girl and boy. Then wonder what lesson you may them teach, and with your guidance, what height they may reach. So to all of my brother, from far and wide, whether your Christmas be snow or hot and dry, may the architect grant his heavenly boon and keep your good health till we meet again soon. Take care of yourself and those you find dear. Keep this festive spirit throughout the next year. Look forward to next day with our happy band till our next merry meeting, apron, heart, and hand. So mote it be.